What's up, fellow classers? It's Apollyon here, and you all asked for it in the comments, so I thought I'd do a quick how-to witch slap. And I say quick because honestly, it's probably one of the most frustrating things for me because it's such an overpowering attack that takes very little to near no planning at all. And after about halfway through the attack, you're pretty much done with everything, and you just go get a coffee and come back and watch it either get 3-star or you fail. So we'll talk about what bases to hit and what it is. So witch slap, really, there's a lot of different witch attacks, but witch slap refers to a certain amount of witches that are backed up with healers on each side of the base while the core goes through the middle. And the healers it's great if they last through the entire time, but healers can heal witches through giant bombs, through Tesla farms, through whatever there is that they run into. So it's an extremely powerful attack. Some of the bases you're looking for when you're looking to use this attack are elongated bases or narrow bases that allow the kill squad to go through the core with 2 or 3 jumps all the way to the outside, with the witches on both sides clearing up all the trash buildings on the outside of the base, as well as any defenses they can get to on the inner first compartment, as well as defenses on the outside of the base. Something like this. One of the main things I look forward, especially with the new meta, is any base that has 4 air defenses at one side of the base, like you see right here. It's a perfect candidate for it because you start the witches on the opposite end of the base, and they pretty much walk all the way down before the healers get into any trouble, and clear out 75 to 80% of the base before you even have to worry about the healers dying. So it's extremely powerful. One of the cool things about this attack that I'm going to show is it's a little variation where normally you use about 8 to 10 witches and 1 to 2 golems. It all depends on how high your royals are. If you have lower royals, anywhere lower than 2020, like 15-15, 15-20, 10-10, something like that, you're going to want to back them up, or at least put golems in front of them to tank for most of the time. So you're going to want to have at least 2 golems, possibly 3, but then it's hard to get away with the healers with that much comp space. So if you're going to do a witch slap with lower heroes, I would recommend bringing about 6 witches, and then the 6 healers, or even you don't even need 6. You can use 4 healers and 2 golems, or maybe 8 witches, 2 golems, and 4 healers. He uses a little different, Credit uses a little different strategy here, because if you notice, and I can only show you with the cursor right here, there's an air defense on the outside here and an air defense on the outside here. Now, having one of the sides taken out by air defense is not a big deal, but he wants to have at least one completely come around the side and be able to clean up all these cannons. So he's going to use a queen walk from the 6 o'clock to 3, instead of using what is traditionally used, as I'll show in the next attack, with witches on both sides backed up by healers. So anyway, let's just jump into it, and we'll explain how it goes throughout the 2 different attacks. This one's going to be, and I think I used the exact same spell composition: 2 jumps, 1 rage, 1 heal. You can use 3 jumps, 1 rage, 3 jumps, 1 heal. It all depends what you have. Some people use a little bit of back end hogs or back end loons, depending on how the base works. But you'll see what Credit does here. Or he'll start his witches, and he uses 3 of the witches here up at the 9 o'clock, and then uses the queen on the bottom for the queen walk. And as soon as they do some pretty decent funneling, he can drop his golem into the core at around 7 o'clock and let it tank a little bit, and also use some of those wizards and other witches to continue the funneling to get the core into or the kill squad into that core. So there we go. We are taking a pounding by that witch, or by the queen. It's always nice to drop a poison a little late, but there we go. Most of the funneling is done, and those witches are taking out that archer tower up there at the 9 o'clock area. So that's fantastic. And now we'll drop the other witches, the bowlers, and the king through the core. Now this is a cleanup attack, which is another reason why Credit chose to do the queen walk on the side, because he did not want the queen to really get stuck on that lava hound for too long. And the witches will get stuck on there, but the Larrys won't. The skellies that they produce will continue to go through the base. He's already dropped his heal. He's already dropped his 2 jumps and his rage. So we're getting through the core here all the witches are up on the top flank of that side, or top side, and the queen is still going strong with all of her healers at the bottom. You want to use about 2 healers for the witches. He brought 4 for the queen. Just, you know, usually queen needs a little bit of extra healers because of that whatever that nerf to the healers on royals. When the healers heal up full, they have no minus bonuses or whatever you want to call it on against any other troop except for royals. So those healers take a little bit of a hit from those ADs, but this base is completely crushed. So honestly, there's really nothing left to do here except just collect the 3-star. Let's go ahead and take a look at one more attack and just show a little bit of the normal composition of what we consider a witch slap. I like this one because I can show how you can do a variation of it pertaining to specific bases that you're trying to hit. Okay, so for this particular attack, we're going to focus more on the traditional composition of a witch slap. There you go, 8 to 10 witches. I've got 9. I have 1 golem, 4 healers, 2 for each side, and I'm going to mix things up a little bit instead of bringing the 10 witches because I need to take care of this air defense here either at 6 o'clock right here or at the 12 o'clock area, because anywhere I deploy my witches from any of the corners, one set of them is going to be in range of this very, very quickly, and it will automatically take out those 2 healers right off the bat, and that cripples the witch slap attack. So I'm going to vary it a little bit with 2 hogs. I'll show that in just a second. Look at this base. It's a little bit more square than rectangular. That's okay. We're showing you how to hit these bases. If you can hit these rectangular or square bases, the rectangular ones and more elongated ones are even easier because the witches will go through the side and the core is much more compact. So we'll go ahead and start our witch attack up at the 3 o'clock, and I'm going to use a golem and hogs to take care of that 6 o'clock AD, and then this particular AD is going to be taken out by the kill squad, so no big deal there. And if you look at the timing, if you do the attack correctly, you're looking at 2 minutes or less for a lot of these type of attacks. There's really nothing that needs to be done except a little bit of funneling. So we'll drop the witches, 4 witches then on the side normally is what you do, with 2 healers behind it. It'll be able to tank for those 3 archer towers under heals, and Larry's distracting. There we go with the golem there at 4 o'clock, distracting the cannon and the Tesla, and the hogs will go ahead and take care of that particular cannon and jump to the AD, and I'll take care of that with only 1 cannon on them and not even trigger the clan castle, which is just perfect. And now we've got basically the funneling done. Only that archer tower has to go down at 3:30, and then we can send our kill squad in. Queen and king are already starting to funnel into the core, and look at the witches being dropped there with the healers way up top so that they're out of that second AD range, which will get taken out by the bowlers right here. Under rage, under heal, and that second jump will be dropped to get through the rest of that core. Poison is on the clan castle. We're taking out Expos too. Those bowlers will be able to make their way all the way up to the top to take out that Expo at 9 o'clock compartment. And I don't know if we've even lost a single witch so far. I see 4 up on the bottom left, and I think at least 3 are up on the top right. So maybe a couple, maybe 1 or 2 have been taken out so far, but this base is completely crippled. I have a king still up. I have my queen full health with abilities still up. I got most of my bowlers, and we're at 70% to this base with only 30 seconds left. There is a builder hut in the corner, but a couple of those Larrys, those little skellies, will jump off and go to take care of that right about now. There we go. And then we've got the queen busting through, using the ability in just a second just for time. Absolutely no necessity to use that with bowlers behind it. And the space is completely crushed. So some of the things where you might fail with Witch Slap, I think I went 4 for 4 on my initial use of this attack for fresh hits, but if the base is a little weirdly designed where the pathing is not so easy for the witches on the outside, or Expo Islands is another thing to look out for. Witch's range is 4 tiles. So sometimes with particular Expo Islands, depending on where the expos are set, the witches and Larrys will walk right past it, and as soon as the witches are the closest to that expo and their skellies walk past it, the expo will kill the skelly and then target right on the witch and take them out. So that's another problem that you can run into particularly. But the biggest one, like I mentioned before, are air defenses that target the outside of the base. Got to find out a way to get rid of those air defenses if you can. Go a little heavier into the core, make sure that they push through and get those air defenses. Air defenses all the way at the other side, the opposite side that you start of, they're inconsequential because by that time the witches don't even need to be healed. They're creating so many skellies and so much DPS and defense that the healers aren't really necessary. So anyway, hopefully you all enjoyed this. If I haven't touched on some certain type of bases or whatever, let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe if you haven't already, and you know, maybe if there's a specific design that I haven't covered on here that you know, I might be able to run into and see, and then make another video or comment on how you would hit that specific base. So anyway, the best thing you can do with this is just get used to really the timing of the funneling. That's what you need to do, is make sure those two sides are funneled by the time you send your kill squad through the core. So that requires you to do some friendly challenges, get used to like that kind of timing, find out what spells work best for you, whether it's 2 jumps, 3 jumps, you know, depending on how long the base is. If you need to make it from one side to the end, if it's very narrow, then use 3 jumps and 1 heal, or 3 jumps and 1 rage. The witches and skellies pretty much take care of themselves. They will live through a giant bomb under heal without a problem, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody design a true, you know, war base that has 2 giant bombs, a double giant bomb set on the outside of the base. But you know, maybe that will be the new meta to do, just to completely combat against this. Who knows? Anyway, hopefully you all liked it. Go ahead and practice, get those 6-star clan wars and those 3-star attacks.